Here we go. All right, guys. Good evening. Good evening, YouTube. Welcome to this next episode of the FPL Family. This is our Gameweek 30 review video, and we called the last live stream the calm before the storm, didn't we? Well, if that was calm, I don't know. I don't want to see the storm because that was a seriously weird game week. We had.
I've just noticed we've got the cat in the middle
the
of us.
cat is chilling out behind us. How are you doing, Harry the cat? Got a better score than me this week. Not as good as you though. Not as good as you. I got beaten by the cat. But your score, we're going to come to that in a minute, guys. Sam is back. Sam is back after a few weeks treading water.
Treading water?
Back in the game.
A couple of weeks in freefall.
I wouldn't call it freefall, but treading water. But you're back, and we're going to talk about that a bit later on. But what a weird game week. It wasn't calm at all. We had Cardiff keeping a clean sheet. We had Burnley scoring 2 at Anfield. We had Richarlison scoring. What do you put it down to? The wind? I don't know. It was stormy. It was stormy, actually, wasn't it?
It's been very, very stormy.
Everybody was caning Klopp at the end of the last game week, at the end of the last game week, when he come out and he said, oh, it was stormy, we couldn't play. It was howling out there today, howling at Anfield, it was howling at the Emirates, wasn't it?
Yeah, but
really
as I said last
down.
stream, like, you lot have got to work on your atmosphere when it's an early kickoff. But
it took time to get going, didn't it? It took time to get going. I must admit, obviously I was disappointed to see the early goal go in for Burnley, but that did get them going a little bit. It sort of kicked Liverpool into life a little bit.
I'd say you were more than disappointed because you were annoyed by life because being a Liverpool fan, but then about 15 minutes...
Why would I be just annoyed by life being a Liverpool fan?
Well, when that goal went in, because you're a Liverpool fan.
Okay.
But then about 10 minutes in, all of a sudden, it occurred to him that he just lost 2 clean sheets. So then the mood was like even worse.
And it was a clear foul. It was the clearest foul you've ever seen. I put a tweet out there saying it was the clearest foul. And then Rushiel quite rightly said to me, no, the clearest foul of the weekend was Pickford on Rondon. Did you see that?
Well, and
it's like a proper Six Nations tackle, wasn't it?
And the idiot that decided to attack Jack Grealish.
Oh, let's not even go there. And Chris Smalling.
What
disappointed
is wrong
look
with people?
Disappointing
honestly.
look. Very, very bad indeed. I've just noticed a couple of comments in the live chat saying we have sound. Thank you, we have sound.
I thought you were going to say we were talking to ourselves again.
No, there is somebody that said OMG no sound in capital letters. So but most of you last time we had that issue were like, there's no sound, no audio. But I think we're good. So let's get cracking straight into here. Let's go here. We've got lots to talk about tonight, guys. As ever, we'll be discussing the fixtures we've just seen. We'll be discussing Super Sunday and what happened in Arsenal Man U. Didn't call that. I thought United were going to win that. I honestly did. I thought they'd be on such a high, but I think it was a bit of a hangover from the Champions League potentially.
Yeah, there was a few strange results this weekend.
It absolutely was, and we'll discuss all the fixtures. We'll look at our teams and how we got on, and in particular, we're going to have a look at how you got on. A nice green arrow for you this week, and we're going to take a look at your free hit team.
It's active.
So your free hit chip is active. You are free hitting in 31, and actually part of your longer term strategy, if you go back a few weeks, part of your strategy was I'm going to free hit in 31, and because I'm doing that, I'm not going to shy away from the likes of Sterling. And of course, that's come good for you this weekend. So, bravo. And I'm sitting there with Salah and Aguero in my team, 2 very, very expensive assets. And you're sitting there with the cheaper versions of them, Mané and Sterling, and they both do the business. Absolutely unreal. I actually was in all right shape on Saturday. So about sort of 5 o'clock Saturday, I had Fraser, and I was pretty happy about that, to be honest. And it's just all falling apart. It's all falling apart, guys.
Not falling apart. You're making out like you've got 3 points. Like you know, it's not that bad.
It's average. But listen, we will talk about that a bit later on, and we'll obviously talk about the fixture. We'll talk about your free hit. I want to give a quick shout out to our patrons as well. So we've got some new patrons that have joined the Slack. We've got a Slack channel now up and running, which...
Oh, it's brilliant.
I wasn't sure how that was going to go, actually, but the guys that are in there have got properly into it. We're getting some good discussions going. It's actually really good during the matches.
Yeah.
So you get little chats going on during the matches and what's going on and stuff.
I like people's live reactions to their teams. That's always quite
absolutely
funny.
Ace, guys. So if you get a chance, head over to, and I've put a little slide together for this, so head over to our Patreon channel, patreon.com/FPL Family. We've got a new tier in there now. So before, there was only the option to go for the $5 tier, which is our Manager of the Month tier, which you guys will know all about. We talk about it often enough. There's a new mini league every month, and you can win a shirt and a guest feature on the FPL Family show. And of course, Frank Verlinden was on last week, and he came on and talked about how his season's going so far. But we've now got a new Ohana tier, Patreon tier, where you can get access to our Ohana pods that come out every Friday. Either you or I or both of us do those. And you get access to our new Slack channel. And hopefully there's a few of our Slackers in tonight. If you're in, guys, hello, welcome, and nice to talk to you throughout the day on Slack. And if you've got a few channels there, one about general FPL, one about jammy picks, one about Sam's stats.
There's going to be a Sam's stats one,
a few different channels we get to talk about. So it's all split. The discussion's kind of split by category and what have you. So it's going quite well so far, isn't it?
For sure. And somebody came on and said, actually, I think it was Harry, actually. I think it was FPL Tip, said it's actually really nice to talk to us both on the same media at the same time.
Yes, yeah.
Because obviously we don't have that normally, because I don't tweet and you don't Insta. So it is quite nice from that respect to have the ability to have a conversation where we can both chirps in our ideas.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of the other guys, like the Always Cheating and the Surgery and all those guys, they have Slack channels too. So if you get the Slack app and you just add a workspace, so you can have all of those chats on the left-hand side, and you can just flick from sort of workplace to workplace and discussion to discussion. So it's all kind of integrated, So it's a nice little platform. It's going really well. So head over to patreon.com/FPL Family. If you want to support what we do, obviously not a prerequisite, as we always say, but if you want to support what we do, we'd love you to do that at either the Ohana tier or the Manager of the Month tier. So there we go. Head over to Patreon. The links are in the description below, guys. So here we go. Let's say hello to a few people. Let's get this show on the road and let's see who is in. Josh Telling is in. How are you doing, Josh? Scott Schrager, who is a patron and on the Slack. So first time, is it okay to be called a slacker? I thought that as soon as I said it. Can we call the slackers slackers? I think we could just about get away with that, can't we? Yeah. FPL Family Slackers. Yeah, we're good. Yeah. Scott. We're good with it. We're good. Hannah is in. How are you doing, Hannah? Kun Karam is here. How are you doing, Karam? He's in. And also a slacker. Absolutely. Felix is in. Neil Crastin is here. Joseph O'Gorman. Oh, Joseph. 27 points. Ouch. That's tough, isn't it? It's tough. I actually genuinely think this game week is going to have, again, polarised the community. I think there's some great scores. I noticed on the way in here, actually, there's some people on Twitter talking about I've got 100 and this, 100 and that. I'm like, flipping heck, really? And then there's poor old Joseph there on 28 or whatever it was. So I think it's another one of those game weeks where there's big swings, big green arrows and big red arrows. So looking at my score and looking at it being about average, given that I didn't have Sterling, guys, and really I only really had Fraser, actually. I don't feel quite as bad as I did maybe a couple of hours ago. Tom Gravgard is in. How are you doing, Tom? Darren O'Brien is here. Suman Gautam is here. Liam Healy. J-Boy is here with 74. Very nice score. Very nice score indeed. Joe Finley Badder is in and moderating. Joe, how are you doing, buddy? Happy for my Sterling captain. Livid with the referee giving his first goal. Yes, it was a bit of a funny one, that, wasn't it? And I actually thought Watford looked, and we'll talk about this fixture in more depth later on, Watford looked very resolute first half. Looked very good, and then it all just kind of fell apart.
I only saw the first half because I went out last night, but I thought Watford played really well in the first half.
Absolutely, they were very good. Very good.
When I checked the score a bit later on, I was quite surprised to see how it ended.
Okay, Sheriff ED is here. I'm ready with my Doritos, he said. Absolutely superb.
Doritos,
what will we do with Felipe Anderson? Well, I know what I'd like to do with Felipe Anderson, and that is never darken my FPL door ever again. He's really not in form. And actually, we're going to talk a bit later on about how I personally think West Ham could be a little bit on the beach, you know. It could be a little bit on the beach. They're a bit in no man's land. They're a bit sort of like see the season out.
Something's wrong, isn't it?
And there's a couple of players in that team that are a bit big time Charlie, aren't they? Arnautovic and Anderson.
What do you mean?
Anderson and Arnautovic in particular, like properly like play for the TV cameras, don't they? And I just worry that they're a bit like, it can't be us now. Do you know what I mean? They're just a bit like flaking through the season. FPL Chancellor's here, 76 points, but benched Rondon. # never bench Rondon.
Benched Rondon?
Hey, listen,
I think that might be a sackable offence, that might.
Dan, you're sacked. That's a sackable offence.
Hey, Dan, did you see the rumours about the new Spurs stadium name?
Oh, God, what's the rumours about the new Spurs stadium name? Is this the Nike Stadium?
No, it's not called Nike, is it? It's called the North London Stadium at White Hart Lane. How amazing is that?
Well, when I tweeted it, people were like, we will still call it White Hart Lane.
Well, it's got at White Hart Lane in it, isn't it? But it's like North London. We've claimed it now. Arsenal, do one. We've claimed it.
But I also saw another tweet that Hannah, thank you, Hannah. I was at Michelle. Might have been Michelle actually forwarded to me about the corners. Did you see the corners? So you've obviously not seen this.
What are you going to say
But there's a story that's in The Sun. So you've obviously not seen this.
What are you going to say
But there's
now?
a story that's in The Sun. So, you know.
Oh, yeah, so the height of professionalism.
Properly legit.
Professional journalism. That's
Sam,
its best.
this is a legit story because it's in The Sun.
Let's
About the fact that they've painted the pitch wrong, or they've maybe done the dimensions of the pitch wrong because there's only a foot between the corner flag and when the pitch starts tapering off. So there's not enough space for Christian Eriksen to hit his corners. Legit story in The Sun. Legit story, Sam.
Because we all listen to what's said in The Sun, don't we?
Absolutely right. There you go. Scott Treg, yeah, still no room for corners. There we go. Dylan Naidu is here. How are you doing? Football Kid is here. Otto Mild and a whole host of you. 259 of you in, guys. So thank you very much for joining. Absolutely superb. There's our Twitter on the left-hand side, at FPL Family. Also on Instagram, at FPL Family as well. And obviously, if you search FPL Family on Facebook, you will find us there as well. A few questions for you in the polls this evening. So if you go and click on the little white eye in the top right-hand corner, go and check out these questions. Thanks to everybody that sent in some questions on my tweet earlier on today. First question comes from Mohammed Al-Baloshi. He says, how many players are you going to have for the blank game week 31? Are you going to have 7 to 8, 9 to 10, 11, or free hit? And we know that you're free hitting when it comes to that bit later on. So thank you, Mohammed, for sending that in. Next question comes from Michelle. She says, which of these two are the best combination for 31 and 33? So we've got to assume that Michelle is probably on a free hit 32 chip strategy. So she's looking at which of these two combinations are going to be best for her to navigate 31 and 33. Is it Firmino and Fraser or Mané and Wilson? And actually, you can make a case for having all four of those in reality.
Well, I was going to say, can we not get all four?
The question that has been asked, Sam, from FPL Family, from Michelle, is which of those combinations is best? So that is the question that I have asked. And then, bless him, Rushil back in with yet another awesome question this week. He is saying strikers for Game Week 31. And I know, guys, I know all these questions about 31, we're going to be talking a lot about 31, but sort of feels like that's the key thing coming up, doesn't it? Forgive us for looking forward to 31. This is obviously a review video of 30. We will, of course, talk about what's just happened, but it will be with an eye very much on what's coming up because it is starting to get to real, proper FPL manager time.
And I think if we're all quite honest, we watch the games for 30 in a 31 mindset. Like, I know I was watching those
you have
games,
it in your mind the whole time, right?
And the whole time I was thinking, who's doing what? Who's getting the points?
Yeah.
Who looks on form for me to get in for my free hit team? Who of my current team will I be thinking about losing in order to prep for 32? So I'm in my head, I was doing all of that kind of stuff.
Like when Trent went off injured, I was like, oh man, it wasn't like, he's gone off with a bit of a knock, I might bench him next week.
Adam Smith as well for Bournemouth. A lot of people got Adam Smith in, didn't they?
Absolutely.
Ready for 31. That's the problem now.
So the question from Rushil is about Game Week 31, and he talks about premium strikers and budget strikers. There's two questions in there. First question is about premium strikers. Which of these three is the best premium striker for 31? Higuain, Vardy, or Firmino? And then the best budget striker for 31, is it Rondon, Barnes, Arnautovic, Wilson, or King? Very impressed with Wilson on his return.
He looked
very impressed.
really
Hit
good.
the ground running, didn't he?
And did you notice that for the first time in ages, Wilson's back, Fraser performs?
Yes, it's almost like a little switch turns on in Fraser, isn't it? That as soon as he comes back, and it was David Brooks playing as well.
Yeah, but then he got injured, didn't he?
Yeah, it's another one that you've got to look out for if you've got him in your team.
He was my jammy pick.
For a while in that game, Fraser looked absolutely back to his best. A goal and assist for the Scotsman, and absolutely sensational, 13-pointer. So why don't we start there, right? Why don't we start there? It seems as good a place as any, right? Bournemouth are on everybody's radar. The Cherries, everybody's cherry picking their best players.
Oh, get you!
I've spent too much time with James, haven't I, from the FPL show. He loves a little pun. You throw me off now. What was I saying? Cherry picking. Everyone's been cherry picking their best players for Game Week 31 that are also going to cover 33, if that's your strategy. So talk me through, Sam, your thoughts on that's not the right page. That's the right page. The Bournemouth results. So I've struggled to get too excited about a win over Huddersfield, but it was away. We know Bournemouth are pretty bad away. They're pretty leaky away from home as well, but they got the job done 2-0. And as you say, Callum Wilson comes back in. In your thoughts for free hit 31?
Wasn't sure about how fit he was, wasn't sure about whether he was going to come straight back into the team in terms of minutes and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely at the forefront of it now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because, for me, I've been holding Fraser all this time on the basis that I wanted to kind of keep him. I just felt that at that value, he still offered good potential. So pleased from that point of view to see Wilson back for this game week.
Created space nicely for the others, doesn't he? He's a hard worker. I noticed that Eddie Howe's brought him back in, didn't ease him in. 90 minutes, bang, get out there, Callum, do the business. So he obviously knows how important Callum Wilson is to his team.
Very.
I've had my run-ins with Callum Wilson over the years, and he's a massive troll, but I must admit, he looked really bang on it again at the weekend, and he is in my thoughts for 31. There's absolutely no question.
No.
He is.
No.
Hey, listen, just because you're on a free hit doesn't mean that I can't cover some of the players you get in.
No.
I'm not getting 11 out, probably. So
you can't have Callum Wilson because
Hold on. Why are you even worried about me? Because I'm so far back.
Because when you get a player, they fall off a cliff.
Oh, sorry.
I don't want you jinxing him.
Getting Kane next week.
Well, that's fine. He's got a blank.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. Very true. That would be very typical of my season, actually, this year.
Get Kane in for a blank.
Stupidest comment ever. So, go on, give me your thoughts on how that game went. So, Wilson, he played the 90. Very, very good. Linked up well with Fraser.
Yeah.
What else to say about that? Bournemouth, yes, on the radar. Absolutely should be getting at least one of them. 6th and 7th for BPS in the game week.
Right,
so, all good as far as I'm concerned. We should be getting on them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have both of them in free hit 31, I think.
Sure.
I have a few issues with my front line because actually the draft that you'll see later doesn't have Wilson in it because I can't quite manage to... I can't have 4, and there's 4 strikers I would like for 31. Just throw my pen lid at myself.
Sorry.
There's 4 that I would like, but... I'm really struggling to overlook Wilson at the moment. I think he just looked really, really good yesterday.
Yeah, the guys are saying, Sheriff, ED, Lee, please leave Wilson alone. J-Boy, Lee, don't go there. Leave him alone. People saying left, right and centre that I shouldn't go there.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Let's see what else you guys are saying about Bournemouth. Fraser got me 13. FPL lawyers saying he did get me 13 as well. Very good. Hannah Z, Wilson and Fraser have an excellent understanding. Great combo. I must admit, there was obviously a lot of talk in the lead up to this game week about David Brooks and how he was going to be the pick. How fickle we are. How fickle we are as FPL managers. We seem to be all about Fraser and Wilson now on the basis of what they've just done. David Brooks still an option for you?
Well, not if he's injured, no.
True, yeah, true.
So I think that's the point, isn't it? Is that you look for game week 31 because it's such a small pot of teams that you can choose from. You are looking for clubs that are that are coming off the back of game week 30 in a positive mindset and potentially I think that Wilson back news is so important to Bournemouth. You saw it in the game on Saturday that they'll take that into the game at the weekend. So for me, that's why I'm thinking about Wilson. I mean, I had Fraser anyway, and I was planning to keep him for free hit 31 anyway. I would just keep him at my side. So he's not one I'm concerned about having, but Wilson certainly looked like he was back to his best, didn't he?
Very good, very good. And the Bournemouth defence, you're considering Boric. Some of the guys are saying Boric paid dividends for me. Jeff is saying best budget goalkeeper in the game. He is super, super cheap. Worth a punt, or do you, in your free hit mindset, he's probably not one you're thinking of, right? Because Bournemouth can concede a goal.
No, I mean, well, we'll see when we look at them later. He isn't one I'd considered. On the basis that I sort of don't really trust Bournemouth with their defending. I mean, to be honest, there's not many teams I do trust are playing in 31 with defence. The defence is the problem. But I think in terms of keepers, if on a free hit strategy, there are better keepers I could choose.
Sure.
But if you're not free hitting in 31, then I think Boric is a good keeper option because he's so cheap.
Yeah, if you spent all your chips, Boric is a nice option, right?
Yeah,
nice
for
option.
sure.
Varane is saying stay away from Bournemouth defence. Yes, I do agree with you, Varane. It's very difficult to really get behind the Bournemouth defence. They are a bit leaky for sure. All right, let's move on from Bournemouth and let's talk about another team that we are considering very heavily for our Game Week 31 teams is Leicester City. Leicester 3, Fulham 1. Again, Leicester concede. Pereira does not keep a clean sheet again.
What to do about Pereira?
And to be honest, that Aite goal was... He did take it well because he did pick it. He picked it up in a nice area. He walks past a couple of defenders, and I got the feeling the Leicester defence were a bit like, he ain't going to score from there. Who is this guy? If it was Mitrovic or something, they might have tackled him a bit like, who's this? And he popped up, and it sort of deflected off of Maguire's backside and over Schmeichel. It was just a really soft goal, and as soon as it went in, I was seething. Pereira, we've all bought him in, but I certainly bought him in a few weeks ago to get, maybe 2 or 3 clean sheets in the next 4, and he's got 0-2, 0-2. Absolutely terrible. So, however, putting that to one side, the Leicester fixtures, as we know, look good. They have got a nice fixture for next week as well. And going forward, they look right on it. Again, the opposition is Fulham, so let's not get too excited. But Vardy looked right on it. Maddison looked more as creative as ever. Tielemans popped up with a very nicely and well-controlled taken goal. Actually, Harvey Barnes could have got some FPL points as well.
He did.
So,
he got an assist, didn't he?
Oh, he did absolutely get an assist. So where's your thinking in terms of Leicester forward assets? You must be thinking of Vardy in your free hit in 31.
100% thinking about Vardy. Yeah. The thing is with Vardy, he is one of those players, and we've said it a few times now, he's one of those players that you get in a new manager, and Vardy's suddenly like...
He finds an extra gear from somewhere. I don't know where, but he just finds it, doesn't he?
It's just almost like he gets a bit of momentum from the new manager arriving. He kind of thrives off of that settling in period when the new manager first arrived. So, yeah, I mean, I'm looking at Vardy. But the thing is with Leicester is they're so inconsistent. And at the moment, it's impossible to know... I wouldn't expect them to be so inconsistent under Rodgers, but it's not clear yet, right? So they lost their first game. Obviously, they're playing against Fulham, who can't win to save their lives, and are also in a similar situation to Leicester in that, managerless. I know Scott Parker's there at the moment, but they haven't got a permanent manager. So it's hard, isn't it, to work out whether that 3-1 result is going to be reflective of a quality side that we get from Leicester in the next game week. Now, to be fair, they've got a decent fixture. So you would expect that, we'll get some attacking returns out of them. So Vardy is on my radar, but I don't want to over-egg the pudding with Leicester.
No, okay.
I don't feel like I want 3, and I've currently got Pereira. I don't know
Defensively,
why.
I don't trust him, but I'm obviously sticking with Pereira. It's a
you can't
luxury transfer that I can't afford to get rid of him.
And I don't really want him back after my free hit. That's a problem, isn't it? But
are you keeping him as part of your free hit?
Well, yeah, at the moment I have.
Really? Okay.
I mean, who is better?
Well, I'm going to talk about West Ham defence in a minute.
Well, I don't want them. I've got Rice in my free hit. Anyway.
All right. Well, let's finish up on Leicester first. Maddison, who is obviously not a big FPL favourite of yours, but did look very good, not getting into nice positions and delivering some nice free kicks and being very creative as ever. Surely, a big haul is just around the corner for Maddison. A consideration for you?
No.
No? Don't fancy Maddison?
No.
No, you're just really not a Maddison fan, are you? At all?
No.
Are you a Tielemans fan then?
Yeah,
Because Tielemans looked very good, right?
More inclined to go to him. He's never trolled me, so I'm more inclined to go there. Maddison, I just don't like him. I just think he's just inconsistent, and I can't.
I think he's got a great partnership with Vardy. I think he's got a really nice understanding going on there.
Yeah, but
you see the little handshake. They did like a proper Spurs style stupid little handshake thing that they had going on with the thingy.
There's nothing stupid about the Spurs handshake.
Yeah, well, all I'm saying is that Maddison and Vardy got a nice understanding there now. No? Okay, you're not convinced. Tielemans, though, for his part, 5 shots this game week, second only to Kane, joint second with Jose Perez and Sterling. So Tielemans right up there, and I've seen his heat maps. He was getting nice and advanced. So if you want a real nice differential option, he's only been in the game 5 minutes. So all those dead teams that are now 3 million dead teams won't have this guy.
No.
So ownership is going to be super, super low for Tielemans. So it looks really, really nice. Only 6 million in the game.
Yeah, I like
6 million in Tielemans.
I like him a lot more than I like Maddison.
Very good. Very nice on the ball. Liked him a lot. Anything else to say about Leicester versus Fulham?
Poor Fulham.
Fulham are going to have an interesting game against Liverpool next week, aren't they? It's Liverpool Fulham.
By interesting, do you mean they're going to get absolutely hammered?
Well, it'll be interesting to see how that game goes. I'm not going to say that because otherwise I'll be made to eat my words. Someone will crop it when we lose the game. But it's going to be...
Well, I'll say it. They're going to get absolutely hammered.
It could be a massacre, that. It could be a massacre, couldn't it? So Leicester very much keeping our eyes on those guys.
Depends if Salah pulls his finger out.
Well, I mean, let's discuss that. Liverpool 4, Burnley 2. So despite the 2 goals, which is... I think only one other team has maybe managed that against us in a very long time, and that was Palace. I think Palace got 2 at Anfield not so long ago. Teams don't come and score at Anfield, so to get 2, despite the first one's clearly a foul, isn't it? But to get 2 at Anfield, fair play to Burnley, great shout. But Liverpool, all eyes on Mo Salah for me, had a really good game, in my opinion, a really good game. Caused them lots and lots of problems, getting into lots of nice areas.
Yeah.
Got 1 assist, could have had 3, but also could have had 0 quite easily. Do you know what I mean? He probably lucky to get the assist that he did because it kind of hit the keeper and fell to Firmino. And then on the other 2 assists, it was his run that made the goal. But again, he doesn't give it. He sort of got tackled and it fell to Mané, or he got tackled in it. So I can absolutely see why only one of those assists was given. I'm not sitting here saying I should have had 3 Salah assists and I'm gutted about it. I can absolutely see it. But what a change from last year. What a change from last year where Salah he'd have scored all 3 of them. Never mind got tackled or assisted. He'd have scored all 3.
Yeah.
So going into Liverpool versus Fulham in game week 31, which Liverpool assets are you most considering? And tell me, are you considering Salah or no?
No.
Yeah, right. I can totally get that. So
I don't regret losing him.
No, absolutely, because you did Salah down to Mané,
yeah.
and with that money got Sterling.
Yeah.
So absolutely 2 fantastic moves. Absolutely fantastic moves. So talk me through the game and what you thought about, in particular, Mané's performance and how Firmino changed the dynamic of that front 3 now that he's back.
So it's tough, isn't it, with Liverpool? Because my one concern going into this Fulham game next weekend is that you've obviously got a huge game on Wednesday evening. And my fear a little bit is, will we get a rotated Liverpool side on for game week 31, because it's Fulham, so you shouldn't need to send out all of your big hitters. Like, will one of your defenders get a rest?
I don't think rotation's a big issue at Liverpool. We went out the cups early, and we've been to hot weather training or whatever they call it. So he's got that squad in really good nick, I think. And yes, we've got 2 games a week. We've got to play Bayern, then we've got to play Fulham.
But it's a big game.
I know, and I think if anything, he would have possibly rotated today.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Because of the Bayern game. I don't see that he rotates in the Fulham game, because I think there's a whole week's rest after that. So
yeah, okay, fair enough.
And let's not beat around the bush. We've got to win these games. We've got 9 games left. They're all cup finals. City aren't going to lose any points probably between now and the end of the season.
They got playoffs.
Okay, so they're not going to lose any points. So for me,
you wait for game week 32.
Hey, listen, I can't wait for 5 minutes time when we've got to talk about Saints versus Spurs.
No, we're not talking about that. But game week 32, when we ruin your title chances,
oh my
then
God.
you can laugh.
Brilliant, thanks for that. So again, you've thrown me. I've completely gone.
Rotation, we were talking about
rotation, absolutely. I don't agree with you. I don't think there's going to be any rotation in that Fulham game. I think it's going to be pretty much a full strength 11. Difficult to know where the points are coming through, but based on what we've seen today, Mané looks like a better captain pick than Salah, right?
I feel very... So here's my view on Salah. Look, having held him for all season and pretty much all season said that you can't cover Mané with Salah, I think what we've seen is that Salah has, for whatever reason, he's been in a really difficult run over the last fair few weeks now. It's about 6-7 weeks potentially that we've not really seen any major returns from Salah.
He has been playing well. That's what annoys me as a Salah owner, is that he has been playing well. The underlying stats are nice. He's just not bringing home the points.
But the problem is that it's very easy. It's very easy to play well within that Liverpool team because the team are playing so well and they've got such a nice understanding of where everybody is. But when we went, what really shifted it for me is when we went up to watch that game and I sat in the stands, and when you're at a game, you view it very differently, particularly as a neutral sitting there watching that game. I'm less interested in the result, so I'm more, obviously I wanted them to win for your sake, but I'm more interested in what are they doing and who's impressing me. And with Salah, my issue was that he played well within the constraints of the team, but he was always either passing the ball back to Trent or being predictable and making these straight runs where people couldn't, as long as they stand up to him, they'll get the ball off of it.
Do you think he's lost that fear factor a little bit?
Yeah.
Do you think defenders are happy to kind of put a foot in now, knowing that, as long as they tackle him in the right way, show him on the outside, he's not as dangerous. I wouldn't say he's been found out. I don't think I'll go as far as that. But I do think that this time last year, defenders hated playing against him. Yeah. They knew they were going to have a game. In the same way that strikers hate playing against Virgil van Dijk. I mean, Barnes was in Van Dijk's back pocket all game, wasn't he? Probably hated going up there and playing that game today. But this time last year, defenders hated playing Salah. But now, I don't think they look forward to it. But I think they know that if they're on their game, they can have a good day against him.
And I think the thing is with Salah, and I mean this with the greatest respect, because I think he is a fantastic player, but he looks to do the same thing every single time. It's a bit like Spurs when we're playing Levante. It's the same balls, the same crosses, the same movement all the time. Now, as a defender, as an opposition, that makes Salah much easier to play against than it does the likes of Mané and the defenders, because you never really know where they're going to pop up. They're a bit all over the place. And that's, from a attacking point of view, that's what you want. You want players that are a bit all over the place and appear here, there and everywhere in inconsistent runs, because they know where each other are going to be because they've practiced for it. But the opposition don't get that advantage, whereas with Salah, same thing all the time.
One thing I did notice actually when we went to Anfield to watch the Watford game, and I noticed it today watching the game, is that sometimes these defences will double up on Salah a little bit. So one thing they don't want to do is get Salah one-on-one against the fullback.
Yep.
So often the centre-half will come across. Well, what does that do? Well, it creates space for Firmino, who got 2 goals today, and it will create space for Mané, who also got 2 goals, who also played in the middle in that game against Watford that we went to see, and he got 2 goals there as well. So despite the fact Salah, we've spent a lot of time on these streams talking about how Firmino is so integral to that side, and you can see it, right? He moves all those defenders around and he creates space for the other 2. That was certainly how last year went.
Yep.
I wonder whether actually Salah is maybe now a bit more of the foil, and that's actually benefiting the other 2. I don't know. Maybe that's an isolated. Mane's got 2 and Firmino's got 2 and Salah's got none. Maybe, but that, as a Liverpool fan, obviously I watch a lot of Liverpool. That is how I feel Salah is going right now. Is he is the foil, and he is the one that they're all going, right, we're going to just double up and tackle him, and then he might, as you say, stop and pass it back to Trent. Or he might stop and pass it infield to actually Lallana or Milner. Lallana played well today, by the way. Good game for Lallana.
He did play well.
Or he might get tackled and it just falls to somebody else, because you know what Firmino's like. He's buzzing around and he's trying to pick up bits all the time, isn't he? Same with Mané. So that's how I feel about Salah right now. Am I happy as a Salah owner going into the Fulham game? Yes, but also no.
Yeah.
Yes, because he's
that.
Probably going to be my captain. It's Fulham, right? He could easily get 20 points. But I also fear that he's the wrong Liverpool asset to have. If I had a straight choice between Salah and Mané, no strings attached, who to have captain next week, it'd be Mané.
Yeah, so I'm my pondery with Liverpool for next game week is, do I go for the double attack or the double defence? And at the moment, I'm really undecided on it. So there is obviously the option to go for Trent and Robbo, or Van Dijk and Robbo, or Van Dijk and Trent. It doesn't really matter.
Sure.
Any. Or would I prefer to just have one of them and go for a combination of probably Mané and Firmino?
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. Of the 3 attackers, Salah's probably the one you probably
considered
wouldn't have.
I haven't
right
considered
now.
having Salah at all.
Crazy, right?
So,
Crazy.
and you'll see my free hit team later. But Firmino, I watched the game today, and you all know that I have a bit of a soft spot for Firmino. I think he's a great fantasy player, and I watched him today and thought, you look bang on it again.
He was on it. He's had a bit of an injury, but actually that injury wasn't too bad. It also gave him a couple of weeks to sort of rest and get ready for the end of the season. So, yeah, Bobby looked bang on it today. A lot of talk about Liverpool there, guys, but I think it's the right thing to do, given that they are quite a focus at the moment. Firmino 4th overall for BPS this week. Mané 5th. Looked pretty good defensively though. 2 goals for Burnley. I mean, the first one we can talk about if you want, but I'd rather not. And then the second one comes, it's just a sloppy goal to give away, frankly. Although it was kind of well taken, I guess. So 2 goals for Burnley, no clean sheet for either Trent or Robertson or Van Dijk, and we're all kind of at least got one of those, I guess, if not 2.
Yeah.
Going into your free hit, you kind of hinted that you might just have one of those. Which of those 3 is in pole position for you right now?
Robbo.
Okay.
Based on the fact that Trent is potentially a bit injured.
We've got to have a look at that for
so
sure.
We've got to look at that. Van Dijk is the other option, and I did ponder with getting Van Dijk instead of Robbo, but I just feel really comfortable playing Robbo every week, so it doesn't really make sense to ship him.
He got in nice positions again today. There was one
and
where
could have scored.
There was one where Mané just should have rolled it to him a bit nicer, and he would have scored. And
I said, denied the points. I was like,
Mané to Robbo would have been a dreamland, absolute dreamland. But there was a couple of occasions when Robbo did get in behind. He always does. He's a great asset. In fact, I think he is the only one in my team that I've had since game week 1. I don't think he's moved since game week 1. I got him in on the start, and he's been in there, locked in. So there it is. Liverpool, what do? I think you treble up. I think you treble up as best you can. And the Fulham game looks tasty, not just, well, certainly attacking-wise, the way that Fulham have been defending, and we'll discuss that in a second. But equally, I don't back Fulham to get much against that defence. I just think that Mitrovic is going to be easy for Van Dijk. That's the sort of player that Van Dijk will love to play against, right? Oh, Van Dijk can play against anybody. I'm just his biggest fan right now. It's so good. That Fulham defence was in that Leicester game. So do we want to talk about that?
No.
think we do really. Other than I think
we had that
they
new
look
guy,
a bit,
didn't we, to look at? What was
dead
he
and
called?
buried.
Nordveit.
Was it? Oh, Nordveit. Oh, goodness me.
Fulham.
Goodness me, he was just as bad. They have not got any centre halves, have they? Awful. An absolutely cracking game though at St James's Park.
How
Newcastle
has Pickford
3
stayed on the pitch?
Well, answer me that question. I have got no idea, guys. Get in the live chat and tell us what you thought of Jordan Pickford.
How is
in that
guy
game.
the England keeper?
Yeah, honestly, Sam. I mean, not just. I mean, yes, the rugby tackle on Rondon is awful.
It's Rondon as well. What?
So he should get sent off. Then he gets up, saves the penalty. Then there's one where I think Everton were 2-0 up and one squeaked past the post.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the Match of the Day highlights, but he sort of turns to the Gallagher end and just gives it some of this. He's like, as if to say, that was close. And it's just like, you're obviously not taking this seriously, Pickford. I can't get my head around how this guy is England's international keeper.
All season he's making these mistakes. The game against you lot, that stupid one right at the end of the match.
And you could tell he wasn't focused because the Newcastle goals, as well taken as they were, he's at fault for
all of them.
Possibly all three of them.
Yeah.
He should be getting down to that Rondon one, no problem.
And he shouldn't be on the pitch. It's so annoying.
Yeah, absolutely. So there we go. We mentioned when we were on the FPL show a couple of weeks ago the Spanish connection between Rondon and Perez and Almiron. The fact they're all Spanish speakers. Well, we have seen that. We've seen that come to pass. And are you now considering maybe Jose Perez? Here's one that we've barely spoken about all season, yet he is third for BPS in Gameweek 30. 2 goals, 1 assist, 3 bonus points. I don't know what that adds up to, but for me that adds up to a Gameweek 31 potential inclusion as a massive differential. Sam, what do you think?
Oh, not over Rondon.
You're going to have Rondon,
it's the love, isn't it? Like, I can't not have Rondon. How could I possibly pick anyone over Rondon?
I think either is a good pick, but Rondon...
If you haven't got either, and you don't have the emotional connection to Rondon that I do, then I think Perez could be a really good pick. Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's a bit shield versus sword, right? I think if you're in the sort of position you're in, flirting with the top 10k, Rondon's probably a safer pick. If I was on my free hit in 31, I'd probably go Perez just for a laugh. Do you know what I mean? I'm in that sort of mode right now with FPL. I'm in that sort of mode. I'd just go Perez. Almiron, for his part, another good performance, and finally he's picked up some FPL points. Only an assist, but he's broken his duck, and he did look pretty good again.
Thing is,
passes the eye test again.
Yeah, and with certain players, they come into the Premier League and it takes them a while to settle. With Almiron, we didn't have that. He came in, baptism of fire, looked great for the last few games. Had a one game where I didn't think he was as good, but still looked fine. And sometimes they don't return for ages. So the fact that he's now returned 3 game weeks in, maybe 4 now, that bodes well for me. Looking at it from an FPL point of view, the fact that he's now got on the score sheet might just open a floodgate there. All
right, let's see what you guys are saying about Newcastle assets. Neil Crastin at FPL Dare, legendary captaincy Rondon. Yes, so if FPL Dare is in, I think I just saw him come in. So Dean, if you're there, welcome. I did watch FPL Dare's last video, and guys, if you're not subscribed to FPL Dare, you need to go do it as soon as you finish. Absolutely awesome. So this week the dare was he had to phone up a member of his family, see what shirt they were wearing, what colour shirt they were wearing, and pick a captain from a team that wear that. Is ridiculous. So he phoned his mum, and his mum had a black and white shirt on. Captain Rondon does the business. Absolutely. This is how we should all be playing FPL.
And to be fair,
I don't care about XG. I'm going to just phone my mum and see what top she's wearing.
And it could have been even better, couldn't it? Because if Pickford wasn't on the pitch, the penalty would have been saved and Rondon would have got another assist.
Could have been even better. Absolutely unreal.
In fact, I think that should be FPL's next dare.
What?
Just phone his mum, see what colour trousers she's wearing or something.
No, we've done clothing
Yeah, but his mum is clearly a legend, so it's got to be something to do with his mum, because she can pick captains.
But listen, I think Dean's team is something like, I don't know the exact rank, but he's in the top 40, 30k, something like that, I think. He's had a couple of flaky game weeks, but after Rondon captain...
I think his mum needs to be more actively involved in the FPL Dare community.
God dear me. I think she's quite a big part of the FPL Dare community already.
She needs to be part of it more for next week, definitely.
So there we go, guys. Go and check out FPL Dare's YouTube channel. Absolutely sensational stuff. FPL with a twist, a big twist, and a really, really fun twist. I love it. So what else to say about that game? Newcastle assets at the back. Are you looking at Jamal Lascelles? I noticed Yedlin coming back in. I don't trust Dubravka as far as I can throw him, frankly. I think if you're free hitting, I think if you're planning your transfers over the next few weeks, you're looking at their forwards, aren't you? I don't think you're really looking at Newcastle.
Yeah, I don't want a defender.
Defenders, I think there's better options.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, very good. Everton, other than Richarlison coming back with a tap-in, which is all he's good for, frankly, Richarlison. And Digne, remember him, with an assist. Not much to say other than Pickford out. Pickford out.
And they got to play Chelsea in the free hit games in the blank 31.
Yeah, so even though they're playing, I don't
want any.
Buzzing to get back on
thanks.
Richarlison or...
Pass on Everton.
Siggy, maybe? Siggy?
Do you know, when I originally did my planning spreadsheet, it had Siggy in it.
Okay.
But I don't trust Everton anymore, so that's gone.
No, and playing Chelsea's not exactly going to be a walker. Not going to be a walker. I'm not going to expect 2 or 3 goals in that game, probably. Let's see.
No, don't think so, no.
Let's very quickly...
No, let's not.
Let's very quickly go to Southampton and go to the 2-1 victory in that game where it appeared to me like Spurs ran out of gas in that game. Very, very good in the first half, Spurs. Very, very good. Ali pulling all the strings. Ali back in the side. No Son. Son was bench and rested. Looked really, really good. And then it just fell apart. And before you talk about that, a quick super chat. Thank you, David James Whiteway, for sending. That's a new name.
Is that just
David.
to cheer me up? Is that what?
Could be. David, not heard David in before, so David, welcome. If this is your first live stream, don't remember to hit that sub button if it's your first stream. Free hit going for Salah, Mané and Firmino. He's going all out, Liverpool attack.
Wow.
All out,
Attack,
Liverpool
attack
against Fulham, and I don't blame you. I absolutely don't blame you, David. Awesome
attack.
stuff. So Spurs then, FPL chances in. He just says FFS Spurs. What the hell is going on there? Are you running out of gas? What's happening, Sam? Give us the lowdown on Spurs in as quick a time as you can, because neither playing 31 and we're not that interested.
I just think we just need to take our chances. What I don't understand is why we don't close teams down. Just finish a game.
Get games done.
That game should have been finished in the first half. There shouldn't have been a way back in for it. Made worse by the fact that Kane was my captain this week, and I was fuming about the amount of chances that he missed.
He was wasteful, wasn't he?
And, great to see Ali back, and I thought that made a real difference. And I was so pleased when I saw Ali's name on the team sheet this week.
Played really well, Ali. Come straight back in and hit the ground running, didn't he?
But it's just infuriating. Now, we are off. He's taking him away, isn't he? They announced that they are going for some warm weather training. You right?
I'm, as usual, spilling water from my thing.
It was the thought of going warm weather training, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. I would love to be going warm weather training. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, so he's whipping them off, because obviously we got a 2-week break now.
Yes.
So they're off on warm weather training. So I'm hoping that whatever has gone on, they're going to come, because they have to come back. They cannot play like this against Liverpool again, Gameweek 32. They just can't. We can't afford to lose any more games. I'm at a loss.
Yeah, but you're happy sticking with Kane, I guess, right? He's obviously not in your free hit team. I understand that, but again, he's going to come back in 32 for the Liverpool fixture.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, happy with him. Yeah, okay, very good. All right.
Never will I lose him.
Okay, and Southampton on their part, I think Josh Oram was in a second ago with tonight's most obvious statement, which was James Ward-Prowse is good at free kicks. That is an astute observation, Joshua. Very astute observation.
Thanks for that, Josh.
Very, very good, Josh. Ward-Prowse is indeed good at free kicks. He's also very good at the Cristiano Ronaldo celebration. Did you see that? Giving it a bit of, proper boom, arms out, everything. Did a little jump in the air, all of that. I'm not going to do it, because I'll probably put my back out. But he did it. It's proper C-Ron free kick, followed by a proper C-Ron celebration. Very good.
It's another one I don't like at the moment, so,
But of course, we are going to be moving quickly on from Southampton because we haven't got any blank Game Week 31 interest in them, really. The only other thing to point out is that Nathan Redmond got an XG, if you like that sort of thing, of 1.2, but didn't get any goals. So a bit unlucky, potentially, to not be in the goals. Redmond missed a few chances. I think he was 4th for underachievers on XG. So,
Joe, I wasn't crying. I was absolutely fuming.
Sam was not very happy, I can confirm.
There was a lot of bad language. Luckily, there was no children present because it was not pretty.
They were in the playroom, so they were in totally the other part of the house, so that was good. That was good. So let's move on then. City 3, Watford 1. Again, let's not spend crazy amounts of time because I don't think either has a 31 game. Other than to say, and I tweeted this out after the game, that I felt like the Sterling and Aguero thing was a bit of a 50-50. I felt like going into that game, and actually for the last few weeks, most FPL managers have gone for one or the other. I think. I didn't see too many tweets saying, "Oh, brilliant, Mahrez got an assist," or David Silva's got. I didn't see too much of that.
No.
But clearly, you've gone for probably one or the other. Probably having both is a bit too much, given that they don't play in 31. Although if you had both, fair play. And having neither is potentially a bit risky, given the fixtures and given that it's Watford at home and what have you. Sorry, Joe. So you've got to pick one or the other. And to be honest, Aguero's home form, for me, slightly tipped it in his favour. But it was a bit of a coin toss, really, between the two, a 50-50 choice. So I don't think you can beat yourself up too much. There was a gilt-edged chance for Aguero in the first half, a header, which went, 9 times out of 10, he posts that, and it's absolutely fine, and he goes on to get a hat-trick, and the game is totally different. As it was, Sterling come up with a hat-trick. So don't beat yourself up about it. I mean, I was fuming. I was absolutely fuming because it was in 15 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I text Lee because I wasn't sure because I like I said I'd gone out last night, and normally when we put the children to bed, if it's a later game, we sometimes we'll pause the game if it's a big one so we can watch it when we get back. So I text Lee and was like, "Have you seen the result? Can you message me the score?" And I got a rather short, sharp response back. And I was like, "Well, I only wanted to know the score, so I wasn't being rude, checking my phone every 2 minutes."
Well, it takes me about 25 minutes to put the kids to bed without you. So I took them up at half time. It's 0-0. I thought, right, 25 minutes. I won't pause it. I'll catch it live again midway through the second half. I come back down. I was like, not only were they 3-0 up, and I'm like, well, that's great, isn't it, for the title? But Sterling 3. It wasn't as if he got 1. It was 3 goals.
The thing is, last week it was the opposite, right? So I know he didn't get a hat trick, but he got the goal. Aguero got the goal last week. Sterling got nothing. So it's in the balance really with the two of them. It's just how it goes each week. But I do think it's got to a stage where, obviously not for 31 because they've got a blank, but moving forward, you do just have to get one of them. You have to have one of them. And it doesn't particularly matter, but I think they'll share the points. They're pretty even. All
right, let's move on. Anything else? What other teams are we considering for 31? Well, Chelsea, actually. We should consider Chelsea. Chelsea won, Wolves won. Chelsea laboured to that today. They really laboured to that
lucky
today. And I must admit, I thought Wolves put in a very good performance away at Stamford Bridge. And up until Hazard scored, which was the 90-something minute, looked as if Raul Jimenez, the best FPL player this year, in my opinion, was going to do the business with a Jota assist again. Jimenez and Jota now working perfectly in harmony over the last couple of weeks. So long may that continue if you're a Wolves fan. Patricio having a good game, 5 saves. Chelsea a bit lucky to escape with a point there. What was your thoughts on the game?
Massively lucky. I think Wolves can consider themselves incredibly unlucky not to have won that game. I thought Wolves deserved to win that game. And actually, up until watching that game, Higuain was my first pick for a forward going into my free hit team. And I watched that game and thought, no, I think I'll pass.
I think you prefer Vardy. I must admit, it was an interesting game. One stat that I did pick out was that Hazard was top this game week in Gameweek 30 for crosses. So he had 12 crosses today, compared to the next best, which was 9 for Milivojevic from Crystal Palace.
Just call it Millie.
Or Richie, who's far easier to say, off of Newcastle. So actually, Hazard with 12 crosses, top for the game week. Now, what does that tell you?
Well, there's nobody getting in the positions. That's the problem.
Well, what that says to me is that Hazard is dribbling less. He's trying to pick out Higuain more in the air. He's trying to, do... he's trying to bring out facets of his game that, in my opinion, are not his strong point. His strong point is taking on defenders directly, dribbling and causing issues, getting in the box and being a general nuisance and popping it in from 40 yards because he's Hazard and that's what he does. But that stat suggests, and also saw some of his heat maps about he's staying a bit wider today, feels like maybe Sarri is using him a bit maybe Sarri is asking him, hold on to it, for less time. Get it in that box. Get that ball into Higuain as quickly as you can. Maybe that's... I don't know. I just saw that stat and I thought, that's interesting. Because you don't often see Hazard there being so far away.
No.
3 or 4 crosses more than Millie than the next best. So, yeah, interesting. But nevertheless, got the goal. And, of course, now everybody's going to be considering him for 31. What's your view? Too expensive for 31 or suicide to go without? What's your view?
Definitely not... Well, okay. So... For me, free hit strategy, definitely not too expensive because look at all the other clubs that you've got to pick from.
Sure.
Their players aren't budget busting. Like, it's not like I've got to fit in, City assets or Spurs assets or anything like that. It's going to cost me a lot of money. So I can afford Hazard easily. I think I've got a ridiculous amount of money in my bank, like 8 million or something at the moment. So for me, yeah, Hazard, I just... I don't feel like I want to go into 31 without a Chelsea player.
Attacking or defensive?
Attacking.
Okay.
Defensive. I think I did bring in a defensive one as well in my first draft, which we'll show you later. But I just feel like I've got to have Hazard for that game. I kind of feel like it'll be ridiculous to go with a free hit strategy to go in without him.
Yeah.
But I feel like I can leave out Higuain.
And remind me who Chelsea are playing in the next game.
Everton,
okay, who aren't exactly keeping a lot of goals out in the minute.
Who've got Pickford in goal, so
who've got Pickford indeed, who loves giving away a rugby tackle penalty. So Hazard might be in for one there. Wolves, again, we've talked before on live streams about what we're doing with their assets. Clearly, you as a 31 free hitter aren't bothered about that. They're going to be coming back in for you in 32. Given that I'll be free hitting in 32, I'll be holding at least one of those guys for 31 and just benching. 100% benching Jimenez. I have too much value in him, and I just think the guy is just unreal this season. So
hero status.
I can't. You just can't get rid of him. I don't think. One of my bench spots in 31 has got Jimenez on it. Doherty, on the other hand, could make way. I've had a look at a few different transfer combinations, and of course I'll be waiting for as long as I can towards the back end of next week because there's European games and stuff going on. I want to see what's happening with Trent and things like that. So I will be waiting, but I'll be looking at a couple of different transfer combinations, and either Doherty or Bednarek could go depending on how much money I need, if that makes sense. It would be a shame to lose Doherty. But what I will say is they're not exactly keeping a lot of clean sheets at the minute, Wolves, are they? Not. They are conceding, despite that being a last minute.
It's very unlucky today.
A bit last minute, and they did defend for their lives. A few of you guys in the live chat are saying Chelsea peppered that goal at the end of that game, and they did. And Patricio played very, very well at the end. Now I agree, but in generally speaking, Wolves are not keeping a lot of clean sheets. So getting rid of Doherty, despite losing a bit of team value, is palatable. It's not ideal, but it's palatable, I think. It's palatable. So there we go. Higuain, you're saying no for Gameweek 31 then, and more leaning towards Hazard.
I just feel like there's, but again it goes back to this fact that there's 4 midfield spots and 3 striker spots, and in the striker spots there's 3 players that are better than Higuain.
All right, Alonso for the free hit.
Where is he?
Is there a faster fall from grace than Alonso as an FPL asset?
Where is Alonso?
Literally dropped like a stone by Sarri. Doesn't even get a look in. Not even in the squad today.
No, that's what I mean. Where is he?
No idea.
He is literally on a beach somewhere.
He has gone to the beach. He said, sorry,
I'm getting paid. I'm off to the beach.
One last game that we've got to talk about. I mean, there's plenty we could talk about, but we're coming up to the hour pretty thick and fast. And I can't carry on without talking about West Ham United. So we're obviously all thinking about which assets we want for Game Week 31. You might be considering some for your free hit in 31. They're going to lose 2-0 at Cardiff. I mean, I'm looking at that game thinking, this is the audition. I want to see whether Anderson... I was so keeping an eye on Lanzini. I thought Lanzini's going to come and do great. I thought Arnautovic, despite... I don't think he started that game, but he came on. I'm thinking, well... Oh, yes, he came on for Anderson at half-time, which was tactical, by the way.
Yeah, we thought he was injured, didn't we?
That's how much Pellegrini's got the ump with Anderson. So he hauls off Anderson, he puts Arnie on, and I'm thinking, all right, so now we'll get to see whether Arnie's going to be, the real deal. And back in for Game Week 31 to cover some of those blank fixtures. Lost 2-0 at Cardiff, absolutely unreal. A lot of people bringing in Rice as well, who I think, as Neil Baxter is saying, hit the post. I think he did. But at the minute, I don't think I trust the West Ham defence. Although, again, remind me who it is they're playing next week. It's an easy peasy game, isn't it? Huddersfield at home. It does not get any better than that. If you can't double up defensively at home against Huddersfield, when can you double up? Are you looking at Fabianski? Are you looking at Rice? Or are you looking at the misfiring attack? What's your thoughts?
No, I've got double up defence. And I don't feel happy about it, but I kind of don't feel like... How can you not? It's Huddersfield.
You have to. When was the last time Huddersfield scored? I genuinely can't remember last time Huddersfield scored a goal.
Huddersfield can't hit a target. They can't... they are useless going forward. So I look at them...
Even if West Ham are on the beach... Surely even West Ham home can keep a clean sheet against Huddersfield. Surely. So in your free hit 31, you're doubled up on Fabianski and Rice, I would suggest, are you? Or are you going out there with Bonner or somebody?
No.
Okay, Rice and Fabianski, absolutely. And of those forward-thinking players that we've just discussed that had an awful game week this week.
Lanzini.
Who are you thinking? Lanzini potentially?
Lanzini would be my pick of the 3.
Okay.
And he was in my plans until this happened. Lanzini was in my midfield plans. But
and all you guys quite rightly, Huddersfield beat Wolves, Lee. What are you talking about? Cue the Mounier goals. They beat Huddersfield. They beat Wolves last week, Lee. Come on, how's your memory? So you're absolutely right.
he's old now.
Nevertheless, goals hard to come by for the Terriers. Hard to come by. There's no doubt about it.
I don't. I mean, I kind of.
West Ham should batter them.
And that's why I've got 2 at the moment, but I don't want 3. 3 feels overkill.
Okay, so 1-0 Mounier it is next week. Let's see.
Don't say that.
Let's have a look at our teams and how we got on this week. So for me, it was pretty bang average. I want to see whether this is updated or not. I don't think it is. We can always go to... No, so that overall rank isn't updated, I don't think. So why don't we go to livefpl.net and use this fancy little website for you guys that haven't seen this before. Regulars to the live stream will have seen this. This is a site that will tell you your live rank is... Oh, I've not got it all set up. Here we go. So I've got to now look for my... Hold the line, callers. Hold the line.
Oh, yeah, because it was set up. It's on the other laptop.
Yeah, it is. So I actually don't know what my team... Oh, there it is. There it is. 6, 9, 8, 4, 9. So there you go, guys. If you want to check my team out, 6, 9, 8, 4, 9. Frankly, why would you? You need to go and check Sam's out instead. So here we go. 52 points. Bang average.
What's that average?
I don't know. It feels it, doesn't it? It certainly feels it. Really small red arrow from 172 to 174. So I'm par, to be honest with you. And given that I didn't have a lot of the big hitters, I didn't have the Sterlings, I didn't have who else, Rondon or Vardy or anybody like that. I only really had Fraser. I think I'm kind of okay with that. It's a very, very small red arrow. So, yeah, bit kind of meh. Get on with it. Let's have a look at your team. Do you know your FPL ID? Don't worry if you don't. I can just go and I can go back. You don't know.
I don't know.
Worry. Let's go back.
I don't know.
Let's go back. Let's see if we can get into... Here we go. In here. And then here. Right, let's have a look at your team. 80 points, Sam. 80 points. Very, very good game week indeed. Game week rank of 228023. Very good. Just the one transfer. Overall rank back up. After
12K
what you would say call free fall. I would say treading water. Back up another 10k places and a 10k rank rise from where you are.
That was yesterday.
Is pretty awesome. So 14. What are you today?
12.
12. We've gone up today even. Okay, very, very good. So talk us through your team and the performance from some of these players. Mané, today, yeah, absolutely. So Mané, Fraser, Sterling, Kane, Jimenez, a lot of good scores. Defence, gloss over it, but talk us through the rest of it.
Oh yeah, look at the defenders. I mean, they're useless. All 5 of them useless. No, all 6 of them useless. But attacking wise, good. We didn't talk about Man United. Man United assets let me down.
Did we not talk Arsenal?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
Man United assets let me down today. I don't know. I think partly that was a hangover from Europe. I just think that they just were a bit too...
Lukaku top for XG underachievers though today, if you noticed that, with an XG of 2.
Good. Yeah, and I thought he looked good.
He did look good again, didn't he?
I thought the Arsenal defenders, he was a handful for them today, for sure. So a bit disappointed with Pogba and Rashford, but, you can't have everything.
And I will... Goodness me, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I will stick up for United here for a second.
What?
Because actually the Arsenal goals, and don't get me wrong, very good result for Arsenal. In a weekend where Chelsea have dropped points, you've dropped points, United have obviously dropped points. That's a great result for them. But that first goal, a freak goal, I don't know what De Gea's doing there, it's a freak goal. And the second one is...
Just blame the wind.
I would absolutely blame the wind, yeah. All right, Klopp. And then the second one is it's a soft penalty, isn't it? Is it a penalty, is it not? I've seen them given, but it's soft. So it's 2-0 Arsenal, but the 2 goals...
Blame the wind and the ref.
They're absolutely avoidable. Avoidable. So easily could have been a different sort of game that. But yeah, so United, possibly a bit unlucky, maybe. But you're right. I think there's a bit of a hangover, and I think Ollie come out and said it after the game. Maybe there was a bit of Paris-itis going on there. I mean, that's such a big night for them, wasn't it? But that's disappointing as a United fan to lose that game, because really could have made some steps up on Chelsea and on Spurs, and obviously beating Arsenal as well. So could have been their weekend and wasn't. But nevertheless, keeping Pogba and Rashford.
Well, yeah, because I'm free hitting, so no one's...
Oh, of course, yeah, of course.
So no one's leaving. So I made one transfer...
I should ask myself that question, probably, shouldn't I?
Yeah, you should, yeah. So I made one transfer going into game week 31. It was the most boring transfer in the world, so I didn't even report it to everyone. I just swapped Button for Ryan on the basis that... Yeah, I mean, it was... Well, I was going to lose my free transfer if I didn't, because I can't roll with them going into a free hit.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I kind of thought, well, Brighton are going to have... They've got 2 matches that they're not scheduled at the moment. Potentially they could have 3 if they stay in the cup to Millwall.
So you've got an eye on Gameweek 32, haven't you?
In my head, I was just thinking, makes sense to have another doubler. So I'll get Ryan and Lloris will have a double as well. So at least I'm doubled up. So yeah, I mean, it was a kind game week. Kane should have got me a lot more than he did, which is a frustration.
Should have.
Robbo could have easily scored, and then that would have been another assist from Mané. But what, you know,
Aite's goal could have been avoided, and Pereira gets 6 on another day. It was one of those game weeks, wasn't it? It was a nearly game week, wasn't it?
But it feels nice to have a green arrow again. That's basically eroded all of the problems that I've had for the last 4 weeks in one week. So it's been quite nice.
Excellent. So the march continues. I mean,
it feels like I've rounded a corner now. So hopefully
12k is sensational rank. Absolutely sensational.
So hopefully
rank.
the free hit will enable a continuation.
We should get another little boost next week, right? Because there'll be tons of teams that are not getting 11 out, and you'll be free hitting. So you get a little boost then. I guess what you've got to be considering is the impact of everybody else free hitting in 32. But you know
But I'll be triple captaining.
You've set your team. Oh, will you?
Probably.
Oh, will you? Okay, very good. And who have you got your eye on for triple captain in 32? Not bench boost?
No, I think I'm going to bench boost. Look, it depends on when the double games get announced and what happens in the cup, and I'll look at where I am. But I think it works better probably for me to triple captain in 32 and bench boost in 35. I think. Okay,
and sorry, I cut you off. I asked you the question and cut you off. Who have you got your eye on for triple captain in 32? Sterling triple captain. Like the sound of that. Guys, I'm just going to try and bring up the live stream regulars league so we can check that out while we're here and see how you guys are getting on.
There's some really good scores in there.
Probably need to zoom this in a bit. I'm going to go through this very quickly because I want to get to your free hit team, which I think, to be fair, we've more or less constructed in our minds and with our discussions as we've been going through this, but it'd be good to see it on the screen. Ryan's still doing very well, 57 points, so a solid week for Ryan. Manahar, very nice week for Manahar, very nice week, 71 points, excellent stuff. Naomi in at 69. What else we got here? 89 points for Rahul Bajaj, well done. Hashtag FPL Boon, I love that. 89 points, sensational stuff, really, really good. A 75 for Chris Mensa. There you are with 80s. I think you're second.
No, because I think Maria is in the 100 club.
Is she? Any hundreds in here? Let's have a look. Is Maria going to be down here somewhere?
Yeah.
There's a 90 there for Mike Gascoigne. Very nice, Mike. Very nice indeed. There's me. 52.
There she is. 101.
101 for Mrs. Maria Holt, the Jewels of May. Check this out. Absolutely sensational stuff. Sterling captain, Mané, Westwood. Look at that. Vardy, Rondon. Even had the luxury of benching Etheridge. Look at that. Sensational stuff, Maria. Congratulations. 101. Really, really very good indeed. Really, Maria. Very good. Any more 100 clubs? Let's see. No, I think Maria wins the week. Absolutely sensational stuff. Very, very good. A quick super chat from Abraham Overboard. Thank you, Abraham, for super chatting. Can I chat with the fam on some kind of forum? You can. Our Slack channel, as we mentioned before. If you didn't catch the beginning of the video, watch us back. We do have a Slack channel. It's for patrons only, so you can go over to patreon.com/FPL Family and check us out on there. If you want to become an Ohana patron, it's about $3 a month to sponsor what we do, and you can get access to our Slack channel via that, and we're both on that. Otherwise, catch us on Twitter or Instagram, usual way, right? So thank you for the super chat, Abraham, thank you for that. What was I going to do? I was going to show
somebody
your
was
free
asking
hit
about
team.
The regulars code. If you DM one of us on Insta or Twitter, we'll pass over the regulars code.
Yes, absolutely we will do that.
We haven't done a Manager of the Month update either.
Yeah, we're kind of in the second game week though, aren't we? So I think maybe next week, as it gets to the business
we'll do it
end.
on Sunday.
As it gets to the business end, we'll do that. Oh no, I don't want to disappear just yet.
Where are we going?
There's a wrong screen to hear. The wrong screen. Yeah, bye.
Bye, everyone.
No, so this is your free hit team. We have, as I mentioned, kind of discussed it, and we've been constructing it in our minds a little bit, I guess, as we've been going through the live stream. Talk us through that. I like it because there's a nice... It looks on the face of it a bit templatey, but there's a couple of very, very interesting picks in there. Not least Almiron, not least Firmino captain, that I really, really like. So talk us through how you got to... And this, by the way, is his first draft, right? This is first pass.
I literally did this just before...
Okay.
Before we came.
So talk us through it then. How did you get to this?
some of them I've been thinking about for a while. So Mané and Robertson were always going to be there. Rice was always going to be there. Fabianski was always going to be there. They were in my plans. Fraser. Rondon, he was always going to be part of this because
got to have him, haven't you?
I can't not, can I? So then it was just a case of picking. Now, the front three, that's where my struggles are because, like I said before, I really do fancy Wilson, but where do I put him? Like, who do I lose in order for that to happen? I kind of feel like it would probably have to be Firmino to get Wilson because I don't want anyone else from Leicester, so I kind of feel like I've got to have Vardy.
It's a shame we haven't got more than 3 spots up front there because I agree with you. Wilson is a really, really nice pick, I think, for the free hit if you're going that way. He's a nice pick if you're not, actually. But yeah, Firmino has been good for you all season. It's been good for you all season, actually, Firmino. I like him as a pick.
I just also kind of feel like Firmino is... He looked really good again today, and the last couple of game weeks I've been watching him thinking, I really do fancy having you back in my team. And this is a good opportunity for it because it's a 1 week punt, isn't it?
Mike is asking, nice question, Mike. He's saying, why such a strong bench? If you're going for free hit, a lot of people that are free hitting will be going all out on their first 11 and it'll be bench fodder on the bench. So what's your thinking there?
Well, who's more expensive apart from Salah than the players I've got?
True, you've got the players you want. The first 11 is there. That's what you want, right?
The thing is that it's not... So it would be different if I was free hitting in a game week where I had the likes of Spurs and United and City and Arsenal to also pick from, because then my bench would be fodder because I'd have to get the big players in. But in this particular game week, there aren't many more expensive players than the ones I've already selected.
Yeah, Rice is 4-4 and Fraser and Amron are cheap, right? So Rondon's pretty cheap.
Yeah,
Pereira's
but
cheap.
Newcastle players are cheap. West Ham players are cheap. So when you're looking at these two, even Leicester players, they're not expensive. So whether I actually play Pereira or not, I don't know. I'm probably going to play David Luiz, to be honest, instead. And
talk me through your captain and vice captain picks. Is that a bus team or is that it will change? Or
Firmino will be my... It should have been on Firmino and Mané, vice and captain. I don't know why it's still on Amaron. Maybe I didn't save it before I sent you the picture. But yeah, I fancy Liverpool to absolutely annihilate. And therefore they will be captain and vice captain. Which way round it stays, I'll probably juggle that all week. I don't know that there'll be that many changes to this team though.
You feel pretty set on that?
Yeah, the Wilson thing is something I'm really thinking about. But the rest of them, I feel fairly happy with them.
Okay, so that's going to be free hit in 31. Talk us through, at a very high level, the rest of your chip strategy. Free hit 31. 32 is a bit damage limitation, but you're thinking of limiting that damage by using your triple captain.
Probably triple captain.
Yeah, and then,
depending upon the fixture releases. Yeah, probably.
Okay, and then 33. Yeah. You'll get all the. Actually, well, no, I was going to say you get all the dross back in, but it's not dross. It'll just be all your 32 players going to
team back.
Your normal team will come. Yeah, you'll just be on your normal team. So it's just another game week, isn't it? For your 33.
I'm seriously hoping for some of the FA Cup fixtures to go my way. Yeah. Because if Brighton could kindly go out the cup to Millwall, then I'd have my Spurs assets, and then
Brighton out the cup to Millwall.
Then I'd get my Spurs assets, and there will be some. My thinking with not having anything to cover 33 is that there will be some players that will play 33 that we don't know about yet.
Yes,
because they'll go out the cup. So that there will be some games that go on. So yeah, I feel all right. I feel like the strategy for me, this strategy was the best thing for my team. I had 3 players, so. This was the best thing for me without killing my team. Like I couldn't have got the game week score that I had this week had I not played my strategy.
Listen, we say it. We've said it a few times. There's no right or wrong strategy, right? It's just your own strategy.
And it is more
exciting. What you've done by doing the free hit 31 is you've raked in the points over the last few weeks, not least the game week just gone. And free hitting in 31. Now, yes, of course, there will be a 32 to come. Everyone else is going to be free hitting then. So. You might have to take a bit of a back step for that one. But if you play your triple captain and that comes off for you, that's going to negate everybody else using their free hit. So, listen, there's no right or wrong strategy. It's just your own strategy.
It has to work for your team.
That's absolutely right.
And that's what we've been talking about over on the Slack channel, isn't it? How everyone's got a different chip strategy, and it isn't right or wrong. It's just if it's right for your team.
Absolutely right. Absolutely. But I really like that as a free hit team. I'm with you. I don't think you're going to change that very much. I think that's more or less there. Pereira is a bit of an interesting one for me, given how much of a troll he's been lately. But listen,
might go on the bench.
Could we be going for triple West Ham defence? That could happen, couldn't it? Let's go for that.
No, it won't. I'm more likely to play Louise than I am.
I think you're probably right.
Bench Pereira.
Let's answer the polls before we go. So how many have you got for 31, Sam?
You better
have
answer
you got?
it because I've got free hit on.
Well, of course, yeah. I've got. So how many have I got for 31? I have got probably 9 to 10 is what I'm going to have. So 43% are with me. 9 to 10 players for the next game week. 10% of you are going to have 7 or 8, which for me feels a bit low. But you know, if that's your strategy. Then, like I say, 43% are going to have 9 or 10. 33% of you are going to have 11 out, which I guess might involve a hit or two. And I could also have 11 out if I want to take a hit. I don't feel like many of the players in 31 are really going to be worth taking a hit for. I don't know. I haven't really got my head around it yet. I need to see how this week pans out. But getting 9 to 10 out, I think is fine. I think is fine.
I think so too.
And then 12% of you are free hitting in 31. This was Michelle's question. Which combo for 31-33, Sam? Firmino and Fraser, or Mané and Wilson? Now, obviously, there's a school of thought that says you could have all 4, but if you had to choose one of those 2 combinations, which would you go for?
Mané and Wilson. If I had to, Mané and Wilson.
Yes, 92% going for that, and I think that's spot on. Firmino and Fraser, good picks also, but 92% Mané and Wilson. Best premium striker for Game Week 31, Higuain, Vardy or Firmino?
I think it's really hard between Vardy and Firmino. It's not Higuain.
It's funny, isn't it? Because if you roll back 48 hours,
I
know. Everyone's all over Higuain, and then he blanks, and Firmino and Vardy get a goal, and all of a sudden they're the ones to have.
I know.
I think they're all good options.
I do too.
All good options.
Vardy, just because he's on that run.
Vardy, okay, 63% say Vardy. Actually, only 16% going Firmino, despite how he looked today. And 20% Higuain. Best budget striker, Rondon, Barnes, Arnautovic, Wilson or King. I guess you're going Rondon.
Well, I am, but Wilson's a close second.
Okay, so Rondon in at 23%. Wilson in at 58%. So a lot of people fancy Wilson. A lot of people going Wilson. 58%. Rondon 23. Barnes 13. Arnautovic 3. And King 0. Yeah, not a lot of love for King. Is he going to be on penalties now that Wilson's back? He stays on penalties,
before,
doesn't he? Yeah, I think so. So there it is. So Wilson is the budget striker of choice for Game Week 31. I must admit, after watching him this game week, did look absolutely back on it. Hit the ground running, 90 minutes, no messing about, straight in there.
That's what you want, isn't it?
So there it is, guys. A big spectrum of scores, actually, this game week. A big spectrum of scores. There's some 20s and 20s, but there's some 30s and 40s. There's some hundreds that Maria got, and I think Ben Krellin, as I was coming on, got 105 this week. So some phenomenal scores. I think if you're anywhere in the 60s, 70s, or even if you're up in the 80s with you, fair play, absolutely brilliant. 70s and 80s is very, very good scores this game week, guys, and there's a few of those knocking about in the live stream regulars league. So awesome. A league which, by the way, is on the front page of FPL, if you noticed. They are actually not our live stream bloggers, regulars, because I don't think there's enough of you guys in there. But in the FPL Family League, we're up there. It's the front page. That is FPL goals. Love that. So, guys, that is it for this evening. Thank you very much for joining us. We're not going to be here in the midweek. We're going to be back with Jules and James on the FPL show on Thursday. So look out for us on there. So no midweek stream, no FPL Family midweek stream this week. We're going to be on the FPL show again with Jules and James. But we will be back, as ever, next Sunday when we'll be talking about...
Oh, we hope it's gone well.
We'll be assessing how the free hit team went. Oh. We will be analysing and picking apart your free hit team and seeing how many points ahead and how far into the top 10k that free hit team gets you.
I need to be a long way into the top 10k because of Game Week 32 potentially.
Listen, there we go. We will be picking it apart, guys. Next Sunday, same time, same place, 8 p.m. Next Sunday. Leave us a like before you go. If you're new around here, hit that subscribe button. Hit the little notify bell as well, and you'll know when we're live next time. Until then, good luck with Game Week 31. And good luck to all of you that are free hitting. Green arrows, and we'll see you soon. Thanks a lot.
Take care, everyone. Bye.